All right, we will call the January 27th Almont Community Schools Board of Education meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Burrow, can you do roll call, please?
Ms. Frederickson?
Here.
Mr. Burrow? Here. Mr. Wade? Here. Mr. Rotarius?
Here.
Mr. Eckert? Here. Mr. Burns? Here. Ms. Smith?
Here.
We have 7 present.
Okay, and at this time, could we have Mr. Eckert please stand and do the oath?
Start. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office member of the Board of Education of Almont Community Schools according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Any adoption of agenda, any additions or deletions?
There are none.
Communication.
Communications, we're going to start with student council. It's here today. Hannah Busson, thank you. You're welcome, Hannah.
Okay. And NHS will be hosting a blood drive Wednesday, the 29th, for any students who are willing to volunteer. And then also the 10th grade will be touring at EdTech this Friday, the 31st in the morning to gain a better understanding of the various courses that EdTech offers to them and deciding whether or not they want to go to EdTech. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Next up, we have greater recognition this month. We have Almont Middle School and reporting on success period and a win update. Thank you all for being here.
Good evening. My name is Barb Lewis, and I'm the proud principal of Almont Middle School. It's my sincere pleasure to be here this evening to highlight some of our hardworking staff members and acknowledge the accomplishments we have made with our academic interventions and character building programming at AMS. I'd like to thank our Board of Education and our Superintendent, Mrs. Von Hiltmeyer, for providing this opportunity for us to share our success with you. I would like to start by introducing, let's see if I can get this to work, by introducing some of our outstanding paraeducators. First, we have Beth Mulak, who supports our 4th grade and WIN interventions. Kim Vineyard, who supports our 4th and 5th grades, along with our WIN interventions, and Carol Bourne, who supports our 6th and 7th grades and WIN interventions. Every decision we make at AMS aligns directly with our schools and district's vision that every student will own their future through academic and personal success, and our mission to nurture, prepare, and empower our students to reach their full potential. We begin each school day with our success period, which is an essential time designated to support our students' academic progress. We provide explicit academic instruction and practice in literacy and math based upon each student's individual needs. Additionally, we have adopted the Positivity Project, otherwise known as P2, as our school-wide character building initiative to empower all school community members to build strong relationships and become their best selves. Last, we implement lessons and activities aligned with Project Healthy Schools to encourage physical activity and healthy habits in our youth while maintaining an overall healthy and safe school environment. In each classroom, teachers utilize math and ELA data to appropriately differentiate students' individualized instruction and practice for remediation or extensions, including regular practice via an online math program, extra math for fourth grade students, and MAP Accelerator in fifth through seventh grades. Additionally, we provide our WIN, or What I Need, reading interventions for fourth grade students reading below grade level. Teachers and paraprofessionals monitor each student's progress and set individual goals based upon performance and academic achievement. In addition, the whole child is addressed to ensure academic and personal success by facilitating P2 character-building lessons and activities. In the gym, our PE teacher and P2 coordinator, Mr. Johnson, facilitates grade-level physical, social, emotional activities that align with our Positivity Project and Project Healthy Schools initiative. This is an example of our monthly success calendar, which includes the components I described, the schedule for each grade level, and links to our P2 classroom lesson plans and enrichment activities. Our Success and P2 Committee collaborates regularly to review feedback from students and staff members and to determine high-leverage character traits to hone in on to deepen students' learning and authentic practice. Last year, we implemented a soft launch and introduction to all 24 character strengths in the Positivity Project program. This school year, our committee identified 18 high-leverage character traits, and our teachers and staff are providing 2 weeks of instruction and practice for each of these 18 traits. And next, I would like to introduce to you one of our amazing paraeducators, Beth Mulak, who will share with you some of the amazing work our paraeducators perform for and with our students.
Our paraeducators follow a structured schedule to provide intentional, flexible, differentiated support based upon students' individual needs. That support is provided through one-on-one or small group push-in or pull-out classroom support, remedial practice, reteaching or modeling, support for our English learners, as well as continually building strong relationships with students.
Additionally, this school year, we implemented our WIN program to provide targeted reading interventions for fourth grade students reading below grade level. Upon review of students' academic data, we determined a need for individualized reading instruction for students reading below grade level, and in coordination with our early literacy coach and in alignment with interventions provided at Orchard Primary, we used 11T funding to acquire a reading intervention curriculum and resources to support explicit instruction in addressing gaps in phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension to support our struggling readers. We began by assessing and identifying fourth grade students utilizing several data sources, then placed identified students in small reading groups based upon their individual needs. The goal of our reading intervention program is that all students will read at grade level. We're excited to share with you our proud accomplishments thus far in the 24-25 school year.
At the beginning of this school year, I tested each fourth grade student using the Developmental Reading Assessment, also known as DRA, which is used to assess each student's reading accuracy, fluency, and reading comprehension. These results allowed us to create groups of students with similar reading levels and needs. Students in each group participated in small group reading interventions 3 times per week for 10 weeks. In December, I retested each student who attended our WIN interventions, and I am happy to report that all students have shown growth. Furthermore, 2 of our students are now reading on grade level and have graduated out of the WIN program altogether. If you look at the data, you can see each student's DRA level for the fall of 2024 compared to the winter of 2024. Student 13D, for example, started the school year at a DRA reading level of 18, and this student is now reading at level 24. Another example is student 3S, who started the year at a DRA reading level of 30 and is now reading at a level 38.
In combination with the hard work and literacy instruction implemented by our classroom teachers, the reading interventions provided by our paraeducators helped our WIN students to grow, on average, 5.6 reading levels in this short 10-week period. As students graduate out of the program, we are able to add more struggling readers to our WIN intervention groups. We will continue to implement interventions and monitor their progress until we reach our goal of all students reading on grade level. Thank you again for your time and for providing this opportunity for us to share our success with you.
Thank you. Excellent job.
I had two questions.
Yep. Is it okay? We have a couple questions, Ms. Lewis.
Well, first, thank you all for coming. I very much appreciate all the data and just more understanding about that. For success, how many minutes is that, like in the beginning of the day? Is that a half hour, 15 minutes?
It's approximately 20 minutes for our 6th and 7th graders. It's a little bit more extended for our 4th and 5th, just because of the schedule and the block periods for our upper grade levels. And the interventionists do pull the 4th grade students 3 days per week so they don't interfere with other activities that they're doing outside, like in the gym, for instance, that might be related to P2 or other Project Healthy Schools activities.
Okay, and then you showed like success in the gym. How many times do the kids get to do that a week?
Each grade level gets a minimum of 1 day per week
Okay,
in the gym.
okay, and then do they do sports or walking, or is it something different every week?
Yeah, it's a little combination. Sometimes they do something that is like a walk and talk. We call it a walk and talk. So it's, but we gear it around like P2 initiatives. For instance, we might give them a question prompt, something to think about related to the P2 character strength that they're learning for the week or the bi-weekly period. And then students talk about it. They might rearrange into groups. They might join with peers that they otherwise would not speak with. And they just do a walk and talk through some of those, what they're learning about that character trait and what it means to them.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Okay, that will bring us to our first questions and comments for the audience. Anything pertaining to the agenda, there is another opportunity at the end of the meeting. Does anybody from the audience like to be recognized? Okay. Anybody from the board for questions and comments?
I'd just like to recognize the middle school and high school student councils for hosting us dinner tonight and a chance to interact and get to know the kids a little bit.
Anybody else? Alrighty. Mr. Burrow.
All right. Mr. Smith?
Ms. Burrow.
I move that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda. A, approval of minutes from December 18th, 2024 regular meeting. B, approval of minutes from the December 18th, 2024 closed session superintendent's evaluation. C, approval of minutes from January 7th, 2025 organizational meeting. D, approval of the minutes from the January 21, 2025 work session. And E, approval of the minutes from the January 23, 2025 special meeting.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Wade.
I move the Board of Education approve the bills payable and the financial reports as proposed by administration and reviewed by the Finance Committee as follows. December 7th, 2024 through January 17th, 2025. General fund total, $396,130.25. School lunch fund, $105,771.50. Student activity fund, $23,682.22. 2014 sinking fund, $28,713.00. Subtotal, $554,400. $296.97. ACH wire transactions, payroll, December 15th through January 15th, $1,483,660.46. Edu staff, $15,760.67. Health Equity HSA, $55,530.17. Credit card BMO, $9,957.46. Health insurance, $123,348.92. Arbiter pay, $10,000.00. Procare fees, $178.82. Total funds spent, $2,252,733.47. Check numbers and voided checks as listed below.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Please make sure that you acknowledge the Orchard Primary, Middle School, High School, and Athletic Student Activity Account balances. They were in your packet. We'll go to new business.
Start with the building reports, starting with Almont High School. EdTech EMT students completed in late December at a public, they competed in late December at a public safety competition, which took place at Saginaw Valley State University. This was something several Almont students competed in, and one team that wound up receiving the gold medal had an Almont High School in that team. We're so proud of our Almont High School students who competed and extremely proud of our gold medalists, and that person is Savannah Siebert. So shout out to Savannah. On Friday, January 10th, a Special Olympics event took place at Almont High, a snowshoeing competition. You may have seen some pictures on Facebook. Ms. Lovett's awesome group of students competed alongside around 100 other students from Lapeer and Genesee ISD. This competition took place on the high school football field where friends and families of participating students were able to watch and cheer their loved ones on to victory. So very successful event there for the high school. For the middle school, we'd like to thank Project Healthy Schools for awarding us a $1,000 grant to support our physical education and wellness program. With those funds, our PE teacher and Success P2 coordinator, Mr. Johnson, has purchased 2 new cornhole boards with bags and 4 school Spirit Healthy contest chains for our Success and P2 initiatives. We'd also like to thank MEMIC for awarding Laura Toner a bag full of school supplies for her classroom for winning the November 2024 Restock Your Stock grant round. That was a pop in to win grant round. Our 4th grade teachers and students held their Regions Day on Friday after completing their unit covering the regions of the United States. They enjoyed a diverse variety of activities, decorations, and culinary specialties from various parts of America. So thank you to all the parents who attended and supported this celebration for our students. Also, Ms. Furman's 7th grade character building class continues to facilitate our recycling program at AMS and showed our P2 character strengths of caring and citizenship by reading with Ms. Starr's preschool students. NWA map growth testing begins January 27th, so it's today. Once completed, teachers will dive into that data, use it to track student growth and to tailor instruction and interventions to best support each student's individual needs. From OP, Mr. Bruno. OP is off to a strong start after returning from break. During the first week, OP kicked off the second half of the school year with a Rad Raider assembly. Students shared what it meant to be a Rad Raider, played games, and got to meet our awesome new SRO, school officer, Officer Retzler. Academically, we are in the midst of NWA and DRA testing. Students have been doing a great job of giving their best effort and showing how much they have learned so far this year. Later this month, teachers will get together on data days to review student progress and adjust our intervention groups. We also had a great professional development day on January 20th, where staff focused on PBIS and continued their series on student writing. Finally, the OP office wants to let everyone know that the kindergarten registration will go live on Monday, February 3rd. We're excited to get our family started here for kindergarten roundup later this spring, and we begin the process of welcoming in the class of 2038. Okay, a few other notes here. I would also like to thank Ms. Wright, Ms. Furman, and the AMS and AHS student councils for organizing and providing the board appreciation dinner this evening. The board and I appreciated the opportunity to interact with several students and listen to their feedback on a variety of school topics. Again, speaking of appreciation, I would also like to extend my thanks and gratitude to the Almont Board of Education as well. Although I'm only a second-year superintendent, I have learned so much and truly understand and value what it means to work as a team to ensure student and staff success. I am beyond excited to build strong and trusting relationships with all 7 of the board members up here on stage. Thank you for your dedication and your tireless work to support Almont Community Schools. So thanks to all of you, both veteran and new. Thank you to everyone who has participated in our $1 Makes a Difference California Fire Relief fundraiser. Also, a special shout out to some of our community members who no longer have children in the district but just wanted to contribute to the cause. In our due diligence to collect as much money as possible for the American Red Cross Los Angeles, I would like to extend the collection date to February 7th, seeing how our district was shut down last week due to inclement weather and icy roads. So we are going to extend that fundraiser just another week. And thank you, everybody out there, for your participation and donations thus far. I had the privilege of attending a Lions Club meeting last week. In full transparency, I attended the meeting to learn more about the Lions Club. I wanted to learn about their organization and their mission to serve the public. With that being said, the Lions Club has asked me if we would consider collecting used or old prescription eyeglasses for them. So as I meet with my administrative team tomorrow morning, we'll discuss the location of collection boxes at all 3 buildings, and we will communicate, we'll put some communication out there for the worthy cause. So thank you in advance for considering this request.
That will bring us to finance.
Purchase of contracted services shall be negotiated either verbally by a request for proposal or through the bid process as determined by the superintendent. Such services that cost more than $10,000 annually require the approval of the board. Our lawn service provider, YSI, is on a rolling contract renewal. This is the last year on that contract before we go out to bid for the 2026 season. We've had this same company for the past 3 years and are happy with their service. Discussed and recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Wade,
I move the Board of Education extend the current lawn services contract with YSI through the end of the 2025 grass cutting season.
Support.
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. That will bring us to policy.
This is our Neola second read for approval. The board adopts bylaws and policies for organization and operation of the board and district. Bylaws and policies may be adopted, amended, and repealed at any meeting of the board, provided the proposed adoption, amendment, or repeal shall have been proposed at a previous board meeting and once proposed shall have remained on the agenda of each succeeding board meeting until approved or rejected. Bylaw 0131.1. The district's policy service, Neola, has provided the following new and replacement policies. This is the second read. We have policy 1130, 3110, 4110, conflict of interest revised. Policy 6110, grant funds revised. Policy 6111, internal controls. Policy 6112, cash management of grants revised. Policy 6114, cost principles, spending federal funds revised. Policy 6325, procurement revised. Policy 6550, travel payment and reimbursement revised. Policy 7310, disposition of surplus property revised. Policy 7450, property inventory revised.
Mrs. Smith,
Mrs. Rotaria?
I move the Board of Education approve the policies as listed above.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Now for new hires, the Board of Education approves all personnel. With the resignation of Kennedy Kaufman, there is a position to fill for the middle school art teacher. Ms. Lewis is excited to recommend Ms. Autumn Smith for the position. Ms. Smith comes to us with many art credentials and is eager to get into the classroom here at ACS and start working with our students. Mr. Spear is recommending Mr. Dennis Thomas for the position of lunch aide at Almont High School. Mr. Thomas recently retired from L&L and has a granddaughter who is currently an AHS student. Discussed and recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith,
Mrs. Rotaria?
I move the Board of Education approve Autumn Smith and Dennis Thomas and welcome them to the district.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have teacher change in pay. In order to be eligible to advance from one lane on the salary schedule to a higher lane, a teacher must make written proof of the completion of courses and/or degree requirements in the form of an official transcript of credits from the institution from which the credits were earned. Master agreement between the Board of Education and the Almont Education Association. Kelly Petrovich is moving from an MA to an MA plus 15. Discussed and recommended 3-0.
Mrs. Smith?
Mrs. Rotaria?
I move the Board of Education advance Kelly Petrovich to the appropriate level of the salary schedule in accordance with provisions outlined in the master agreement between the Board of Education and the Almont Education Association and commend her for her commitment to continued learning.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next, we have the pre-Labor Day start resolution. The Lapeer County ISD has asked us to consider the attached pre-Labor Day start resolution. The Lapeer County ISD applied for a pre-Labor Day start with the state superintendent. The attached resolution declares the district's support of this waiver. Discussed and recommended by committee, 3-0.
Mrs. Smith, I have to read, this statement? Right. Okay.
After she makes the motion, though.
After she makes the
Yeah,
motion?
you have to make a motion and then read it, and then we'll do a roll call.
Okay.
Mrs. Smith?
Mrs. Rotaria?
I move the Board of Education expresses support of the attached resolution regarding a pre-Labor Day start to the school year.
Mr. Burrow?
Subsection 380.1284B2 of the revised school code states the board of the school district, intermediate school district shall ensure the district school year does not begin before Labor Day. Number 2, subsection 380.1284B4 of the revised school code states that after September 29th, 2005, a district begins operating a year-round school or program, the district may apply to the state superintendent for a waiver from subsection 380.12842. Number 3, pursuant to subsection 380.1284B4 of the revised school code, the state superintendent has established standards for determining a bona fide year-round school or program includes a school that is on the same calendar as an institution of higher education and the school shares facilities, faculty, or course with the higher education institution, e.g. early colleges. Number 4, early college programming, including the STEM Academy of Lapeer County, an early college whose members include all of Lapeer County ISD's constituent districts, began in Lapeer County in the 2015-16 school year. 5, in accordance with subsection 380.1284B4 of the revised school code, the Lapeer County ISD applied for and was granted a 3-year waiver on behalf of its constituent districts beginning in the 2022-23 school year. 6, in accordance with subsection 380.1284B4 of the revised school code, the Lapeer County ISD applied for a 3-year waiver on behalf of its constituent districts to begin in the 2025-26 school year. 7, pursuant to section 388.1760 of the School Aid Act, if a district, intermediate district applies for a waiver under section 380.1284 of the revised school code, a joint public hearing with the State Department of Education is required. And 8, said joint public hearing has been scheduled for February 4th, 2025 at 3 p.m. at the Lapeer County ISD Administration Strive Building. Now, therefore, be it resolved that, number 1, this board does hereby express its support of a pre-Labor Day start because it affords additional educational opportunities to the students of the district desiring to participate in early college programming, including the STEM Academy of Lapeer County. Number 2, all resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with provisions of the resolution B and the same are hereby rescinded.
Mr. Burrow, will you do roll call vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Eckert? Aye. Mr. Burrow? Aye. Mr. Burns?
Aye.
Ms. Rotarius?
Aye.
Ms. Frederickson?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
7-0 vote.
Motion carried.
Okay, next is the approval of overnight trips. The Board of Education approves all student trips which require an overnight stay or out-of-state travel, policy 2340. There are trips that several of our student groups may get invited to attend that require a quick response. This motion will allow Mr. Zimmerman and/or Mrs. Von Hiltmeyer to approve their request and respond in a more time-efficient manner to the invitations. Recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith?
Mrs. Rotaria?
I move the Board of Education approve Mr. Zimmerman and/or Mrs. Van Hiltmeyer to approve any overnight trips for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This will bring us to our last opportunity for comments from the audience. Would anybody like to be recognized? Nope. Okay. Anybody on the board for any comments?
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Wade?
In our work session for the future agenda items, there was the evaluation of the virtual learning and the dual enrollment. And then I think it was in the board report, there was 86 or 82 dual enrollment students. One of the things as we get towards that, if you could give us an idea of what course they are taking or courses, like the top three, is there something maybe we can create here that they don't have to?
For dual enrollment,
For dual
just to
enrollment.
clarify, okay,
So
dual
that-
enrollment courses.
If we have it here, they can't take the dual enrollment, but if it's something that 90% of the students are taking there, is it something we could create here that keep them in here?
Good point.
Mrs. Smith,
Ms. Fry?
just to share, it has to be an AP course if we create something. It can't be just a generic psychology course. It has to be the AP version because we have to show that it's comparable, just because I know a little bit about dual enrollment rules. So just to share that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I would like to welcome Mr. Eckert and thank you for stepping up. Your community very much appreciates you. I do as well. So welcome to the board. And I would like to acknowledge Mr. Owen also. Thank you to him for stepping up and interviewing. Any future agenda items?
Mrs. Smith?
Yeah.
I know that it was discussed at the work session. I believe Mr. Wade brought it up. We do need to do we need that scheduled board retreat for like our goals planning as a board. I know there's a lot of topics coming up on the agenda for the next two meetings that we would as a board, we need to get together and have a clear vision on what we want to do before we discuss those topics.
I agree. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other comment?
Mrs. Smith?
Mr. Burrow?
I move to end the January 27th Board of Education meeting at 7:03 PM.
Support?
Motion and support. Any discussion?